All right. Cool. I think we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hold on. Are we live? Okay. I guess we are live, right? So hey folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Saurabh Paul. Welcome to Paul Ke Bol. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I thought it was at 10:30. Turns out it was at 10:15 for some reason. Sorry about that, right? So if you're joining and this is what it is. Really sorry, I'll be on time next time round. Well, because this is an important topic. Does work life balance really exist, especially in today's world? And I believe it does not exist, right? Work life balance was something which existed until 10 years ago in India in certain jobs. But today, there is nothing called as work life balance in its purest sense. At max, you can have a healthy a work life arrangement, but it's never going to be balanced because in India at least it's not possible, right? And other countries also, dhire, it's going to get like that. The reality is in India today, everyone is supposed to overwork, right? And that's not me saying it. Like these are official numbers. I have linked it in one of my channel ka posts also. If you go in the post section, Indians on an average work 55 hours a week, which is much more than almost everyone else in the world. So especially Indians in the organized sphere work quite a lot, right? And we are expected to go above and beyond. And it's not just the numbers that are backing us up. Even the titans of our industry are like, hey, this is our time. These next 10, 20 years is when we are supposed to, achieve our manifest destiny, work 70 hours a week, 90 hours a week, so on and so forth. Now, where does this come from, right? And why is it the way it is? People often underestimate the impact of technology, right? Um, for not just for employees but also for employers, right? It it's not just about productivity, it's also in terms of tracking, is what I'm trying to tell you, right? um there was a time when you would enter office like oh key card leke. When my career started 2013, you had a key card, which was like kind of attached to your ID card, वो गले पे लटका के, and you had to enter like this. You had to swipe it at a certain time. You entered like इसी time पे entry मारना है. You have to enter at this point. If you are 1 minute late, it's a late one. If you are like more than 10 minutes late, it's a half day, literally. Okay. And if you get too many half days, you basically like आपका कट जाएगा पैसा, basically, right? LOPO बोलते हैं उसका, loss of pay. And you were supposed to work for 8 hours, 8.5 hours, oftentimes much more than that in my case, at least. And I used to work like 10 hours, 11 hours and all. And then I used to leave home. So entry sahi time pe, exit kabhi bhi hota hai. But then there were people who used to work over there, and they used to leave exactly at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever the timing was, right? 5:30, 6 o'clock and all. They never used to stay behind. And I used to be like, yaar, main kaise banunga ye? When will I also be someone who will be able to leave early on time? And turns out you can only do that. You can only leave early, or not early, on time, um, is if you kind of do not have any ambition in the corporate sphere, more or less. That's the harsh reality, is what I want to tell you. Work life balance is for those people uh, who want to, be like, hey, this is my work, this is what I'm going to do. And they just come and do their work, go back home. They want to be paid whatever they are owed, and just go back home, and ज़्यादा कुछ seriously नहीं लेना है. मतलब लेना भी नहीं चाहिए, right? Because इतना पैसा में इतना ही मिलेगा, which is fair, right? Like if you are an employee, if you are someone who's working, obviously that's what it's supposed to be. And the challenge is that if you really want to rise up the ranks of a company, you have to burn the midnight oil. That's the reality, right? Work life balance exists for those people who want to, just do the job and go home. If you want to rise up the corporate ladder, if you really want to join the top management, so to say, if you want to earn more money, earn the real big bucks, you have to work overtime. You have to work on the weekends at times. And that is the reality of it, right? Now, I'm fine with this arrangement because some people, who are like, कि यार मुझे extra काम करना है मैं करूँगा, जिनको नहीं करना है वो नहीं करेंगे. I think everyone should have choice, right? Freedom of choice. Don't force people to work extra, okay? And also don't force people to not work extra. You get what I mean? सो आई रिस्पेक्ट दैट फ्रीडम ऑफ चॉइस. इट्स अ गिव एंड टेक, राइट? सिंपल है. मैं अगर 1 घंटा जिम जाऊंगा तो मतलब 3 times a week मेरी बॉडी ठीक ठाक होगी. मैं अगर हर हफ्ता जिम जाऊंगा और मैं 1.5 घंटा हर दिन जिम जाऊंगा और मैं 1.5 घंटा अगर मैं जिम में स्पेंड करूंगा, माई बॉडी विल बी डिफरेंट. करेक्ट. नाउ किसी दिन वेट्स, किसी दिन कार्डियो, किसी दिन व्हाटएवर, लेग्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, राइट? कुछ ना कुछ, कुछ ना कुछ. The point is, the best system is where you get a choice of whether you want to, however long you want to work for, correct? But unfortunately, that is going out in India, because from what I can see, and this has been happening since the lockdowns, is that companies can track you left, right, center at this point. Yeah, they know, like कीस्ट्रोक ट्रैकर होते हैं, कितना टाइम तुम्हारा लैपटॉप ऑन है वो ट्रैक होता है, जियो लोकेशन ट्रैकिंग होती है, and basically what is your screen open time, screen on time जो होता है वो. So they know exactly if someone's working 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, 11 hours, 10 hours or not. Okay, the tracking is immense. And what has happened is, earlier there used to be like, people are like, हमको work from home पसंद है, हमको remote work पसंद है, people all do keep doing that crap. Okay, people don't understand that कि there was a time when you used to go to office, and after you left office there was no meetings. Many young people, Gen Z and all of that, right? तो उनको मालूम ही नहीं हो जिंदगी कि ऑफिस खत्म भी होता था. Today we live in a world which is 24/7 office, because कभी भी मैसेज आ गया ऑफिस. You could escape your work once you left the physical premises you were working in, right? There are, even today there are companies where people can leave their laptops, at work and then come back. But वो phone पे कुछ ना कुछ तो चालू ही रहता है. And it is considered mandatory, right? You have to, keep your, it's either it's Slack or Outlook or Gmail or whatever it is. It has to be there on your phone. It's considered MS Teams and all. It's considered mandatory. You have to keep it on your phone. So the phone, the mobile phone that you have, right? This thing has taken away your work-life balance, because work-life balance is also not only a part of your physical. It's not only about working physically, but it's also about having mind space being captured by work. You get me? अगर आपको एक पिंग आता है, अभी आई वॉज ऑन वेकेशन रिसेंटली, राइट? आई वॉज लाइक कि हाँ हम तो छुट्टी पे है, बट मैंने नोटिफिकेशंस भी बंद कर दिए थे, यू नो. But I kind of got a notification still, because in Slack there is like this feature that if there is an emergency sort of thing, someone can ping you, and even if your notifications are off, you will get that notification. And it happened with me, and I'm glad it happened, because काम था, like there was something where I was needed and I was okay. In 1 week, if I have to respond like for 2 minutes, I'm okay with it. होता है, we are part of a team, we have to do this. But this was not the case many years ago, right? If you were on vacation, you were on vacation. So work from home जो है उसने आपकी वाट लगाई है, is what people are not realizing. Because now, even if you go to office and you come back home, आपको 11 बजे कभी भी कोई एक मीटिंग आ सकता है. Guys, there is an emergency, guys, this is there, this is that, ये है वो है, आ जाओ. And you cannot say, in today's day and age, you cannot say कि oh I cannot join, I have internet issues. हॉटस्पॉट पे आ, तेरा नहीं चल रहा, किसी और का हॉटस्पॉट लेके आ. तू बाहर जा, पब्लिक वाईफाई पे आ, कुछ तो कर, फोन से ज्वाइन कर. बट यू कैन ज्वाइन दिस कॉन कॉल. यू गेट व्हाट आई एम सेइंग? You get what I'm saying? Another thing which has happened in India is, most of because our IT industry is so ever present, right? And even if you're not in IT, you're in normal tech or you're in manufacturing also, many a times you have to deal with foreign partners. If they're not foreign customers, like, people who in the West, or people even in the East for that matter, people in Japan or Australia and all. If you have clients or partners who work in, Japan or Australia or the US, especially the Pacific coast, do you know the kind of timings that you have to work? It's crazy. आपको रात रात का काम करना पड़ता है कभी, मतलब आपके सुबह के 4 बजे आपको कभी कभार काम करना पड़ेगा, unless that is your job, right? Like, because hey, this is my geography, like Australia is my geography or US is my geography, तो आपको पता है आपको रात को ही काम करना पड़ेगा, आपका नाइट शिफ्ट है, which is fine. The problem is when you are working day shift and you still have to deal with people from across geographies. Correct. So, and that is going to become more and more and more common for people like us. And you have to just deal with it, right? You have to work around it. And which is why I am saying that there is nothing called as work-life balance, because आपको सुबह 7 बजे भी कुछ करना होगा काम, आपको रात को 11 बजे भी काम आएगा. आपको बीच में जो जो टाइम मिलता है ना, उसमें से आप जिंदगी जी लो, मंडे टू फ्राइडे एटलीस्ट. द बेस्ट थिंग यू कैन डू is basically look for a company that is very honest and earnest when it comes to ensuring their people's well-being. Okay, you should be in a company, you know, ideally a company is like भाई मंडे टू फ्राइडे पेल के काम करेंगे, सैटरडे संडे जो हमारा ऑफ होता है उस दिन ऑफ होता है, then we are not going to, you know, trouble you, sort of a thing. Those are the companies which are actually, in my eyes, the best kind of companies. Because let's be frank, let's have a very honest conversation. We are expected to go over and above whatever our work hours are. You do not live in Germany कि 5 बजे के बाद, you know, कि email गया तो, you know, it is like illegal and all. You know, there are laws in Germany where it's like, hey, after 6 p.m., the company's servers shut down, literally. Like emails cannot go from here to there because they expect everyone to work, you know, till 5 p.m. and then get everything done, switch off. You know, that's how they work over there at most levels. You know, at the top level, nahi, people keep working the entire time. But we are not Germany, we are India. We are a quantity based society. We are not a quality based society. Sorry to, you know, break your heart. But for the next 20 years, at least 20, 25, 30 years, India is not going to have work life balance. We are going to work more than anyone else. We have to work more than anyone else. The best thing you can do is honestly find a via media for yourself, a system that works for you. Okay, a system that works for you, frankly speaking. Because I'm someone who literally wakes up at 7 a.m. and I start working because I'm a morning person. मेरे को सुबह उठ के काम करने को पसंद है. बट रात को 11 बज गया ना, मेरा वाट लग जाता है. See, some people are morning people, some people are night people, right? I can't do night stuff. I just cannot. I end up making mistakes and all of that. So I ideally avoid it, you know. But throughout the day, but my laptop, once it opens at 7 a.m., it closes at 11 p.m. So does it mean I'm working for what, like, 16 hours? No, I'm not working 16 hours. I am working for 10 to 11 hours, you know. बाकी का 4-5 घंटा जो बीच का होता है, because I work from home also, right? I live my life. I live my life meanwhile, right? 7 to 11 जो काम होता है हम करते हैं, and you cannot work 16 hours more often than not. You'll burn out very soon, right? Unless you're in investment banking and all of that. So you have to, and this is something which we were taught when we joined the companies that we joined, right? When I joined some of the big companies that I joined, they were all very upfront. Hey, there is no work-life balance. There is work-life integration. Okay, it's like you have to accept your work and life have intertwined. That was not the case beforehand. आप 5 बजे जब निकल जाते तो ऑफिशियल प्रेमाइसेस से किसी का बाप आपको फ़ोन नहीं कर सकता था. लोगों के पास मोबाइल फ़ोन ही नहीं होते थे, और अगर होते थे तो इंटरनेट नहीं होता था. काम कैसे करोगे? ओके, सो योर लाइफ हैज़ बिकम अमेजिंग बिकॉज ऑफ दिस. इट हैज़ ऑल्सो बिकम वर्स बिकॉज ऑफ दिस. इसको इसको ब्लेम करो. You get me? It is the mobile phone which has done that. It is internet which has done that to you. I can see a lot of people in the comment section. Hi Karthikeyan, hi Ajay. So good to see you. Hi Rajdeep. Folks, if you have joined over here, there are quite a few people online. Thank you so much for joining. Please start putting, you know, your comments in the chat. I love to hear different perspectives. You can disagree with me also, right? And if you have any questions related to the topic, please put it over there, right? Any experiences of yours also, you can put it over there. Yeah. So as I was saying कि वो ज़माना चला गया, वो ज़माना चला गया. But that does not mean you work like a dog, right? You're not a loser. You're a, you know, you should have respect for yourself. And I have had times in my life when I didn't have respect for myself. I was a workaholic, and even today I kind of I enjoy working. Frankly, I'll be very frank. मेरे को काम करने में मजा आता है. But I don't like to work, you know, on things I don't like, of course. And I also don't like to work too much, you know, like keep on shit like that I don't like, you know, and it's like, or for people who I don't like, you know. And I need that interest in life. मुझे काम करने में मजा आता है in general. But I will not work 18 hours a day. यार. I can easily work 12 hours a day, which I do, frankly. I work 10 to 12 hours a day. Some people will be like कि हाँ उसमें productivity नीचे चला जाता है. Probably. But when you have certain timings, when you have certain time zones, you know, and when you are dependent on other people, when there are longer and bigger teams that you have to deal with, you know, long list of people you have to deal with, your work hours get stretched, guys. Okay, and you have to deal with that. Okay, अपना वो टाइम चला गया कि you know फैक्ट्री में हम काम नहीं करते guys. We don't work in a factory where अभी मैं गया 8 बजे, मैंने ठक 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 काम किया 1 बजे तक। अब मैं लंच करेगा 1 से 2, दोस्तों के साथ सिगरेट पिएगा, टाइम पास करेगा, 2 बजे वापस आया, खट 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 किया, 5 बजे निकल गया। It doesn't work like that, okay? And also, you don't live in Germany, you don't live in Switzerland. When I was in Switzerland, was in Luzern. It was a weekday. मैं मतलब यार थोड़ा ब्रेक लेते हैं, एंड इट वाज लाइक 4:35 एंड मैं कैफ़े में गया एंड मैंने कॉफ़ी मंगाई, ब्यूटीफुल कॉफ़ी, beautiful Luzerne cafe. And I was just sitting over there, and then I saw मेरे बाजू में there was like a group of 5-6 office people, colleagues. You know, they were not part of the same team, but they were working in the same office. उनका बैग्स ब्रीफ केस पे उनका लोगो वोगो था कंपनी का, राइट? एंड they were just sitting and they were chilling, you know. They were all chilling and they were all having beers, you know, together. It was like कि हाँ, and it was not a Friday evening. It was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. और ये लोग बस बैठे हैं एक साथ, गप्पे लड़ा रहे हैं, चिल मार रहे हैं। एक एक डेढ़ डेढ़ घंटा बैठे थे वो लोग वहाँ पे। Now, of course, they were speaking in German, so I didn't understand. Switzerland में काफ़ी German बात की जाती है, so I didn't understand a lot of what they were saying. But it was basically, you know, like I saw that these people could actually leave their, you know, office at 4:30, and they could have beers and just chill and hang out together. यू गेट मी? एंड आई वाज लाइक ये कैसे हो रहा है यार? हम लोग का तो कुत्ते की तरह हम लोग ऐसा लोकल ट्रेन पकड़ रहा है, झगड़ा कर रहा है अंकल लोग के साथ, मारा-मारी हो रहा है टैक्सी लेने के लिए, रिक्शा वाला मेरे पे थूक के जा रहा है, चल साले, एंड आई एम लाइक गटर में पैर जा रहा है, लाइक मतलब लिटरली, मतलब बारिश के टाइम पे इन मुंबई आपका पैर गटर में चला जाएगा, पता ही नहीं चलेगा बिकॉज़ पानी इतना बहता है। Correct. So it is unfortunate, but it is fucking true, right? And it's incredible, right? Like the life that they have, and I was not jealous because I was like, "Ki, bro, you're not born here. Khatam. You're born in India, and this is what I want to tell you guys. I'm sorry, I have bad news for you. You're born in India, and you cannot have what they have unless you move there, you immigrate there. You cannot have that life. India में ये अगले 20-25 साल 30 साल हो ही नहीं सकता. Which means our careers are going to finish off, you know, before anything improves in terms of work life balance, because we just cannot, yeah, like, you know, not because we have a country to build, we have an economy to build. तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हमने ठेका ले रखा है पूरे देश का, सिर्फ हम ही काम करें क्या? You know, it's just garbage, right? That's just nonsense arguments, right? But what it does mean is that we have so much unemployment. Let me get down to the brass tacks. We have so much unemployment. The employers always have a lot more leverage than the employees. Okay, most people in India are more or less easily replaceable unless they work in like a quality field or a very niche field with a specific set of talents which very few people have, correct? So I would, and plus with the rise of AI, I mean, employers get even more power, just by the way. So what I'm trying to tell you is, stop having, in Marathi there is this term, right, called khoya kalpana, you know, like stop having those delusions that we are going to live the way Europeans live. We cannot. Europeans are Europeans, Indians are Indians. It is what it is, you know. By the way, the Americans work really, really long hours also, by the way, but they're still better off than us, frankly speaking. They're still better off than us. So people are like, you know, labor laws department is sleeping. Guys, labor laws don't exist for us in any, you know, meaningful way. For people in the knowledge economy, in the knowledge sector, people like you and me, there are no labor laws. I've never seen anything like that. You know, nothing. I mean, everyone laughs if you even talk about, you know, work life balance, you know, in the real world, unless you work in a good company. Because here's the reality: unless you work for a good company with good leadership, I think it is, you will always be pressured to work more than you should. Like, I'll give you a story, right? I remember I was in this job, and I won't name which, and I used to work very long hours, as I said, right? After a point of time, I was like, screw that. मैं एकदम efficiently काम करेगा, कुछ टाइम पास नहीं करेगा, मैं एकदम टाइम पे निकलेगा. एंड आई डिड दैट, राइट? आई डिड दैट. डॉट जब वो टाइम आया, मैं निकला एक दिन. डॉट जब वो टाइम आया, मैं निकला दूसरा दिन. Third day, I'm leaving in the evening. I got stopped by someone who worked in the admin department, not my boss, not my super boss, not some dude I work with. Admin department guy who I don't really work with, right? Now, most people like admin department kya hota hai? Yeah, you guys haven't really worked in an office, so you don't know, but whatever. So, admin department guy stops me and he's like, kya re, kidhar ja raha hai? And I was like, I'm going home, you know, because I was a young, arrogant, brash bastard. एंड लाइक घर जा रहा हूँ, क्यों? एंड ही वाज लाइक, आजकल बड़ा टाइम पे निकल रहे हो। मैं बोला व्हाट? इज लाइक हाँ, टाइम पे निकल रहा है आजकल, काम कम है क्या तेरे पास? आई वाज लाइक डूड व्हाट्स रॉन्ग विद यू, मैं टाइम पे निकल रहा हूँ ना, मतलब दिस इज द टाइम। मैंने बोला कि आई एम एफिशिएंट, दैट इज नॉट माय प्रॉब्लम। एंड वो बंदा मेरे को पता है क्या बोलता है, मैंने बोला तू एफिशिएंट है, ए जुबान लड़ाएगा, जुबान लड़ाएगा, एफिशिएंसी एंड ऑल, you know, because in big 20, you know, like whatever 10 years ago, how many ever years ago, like they were like कि एफिशिएंसी वगैरह बोल रहा है तो हीरो है क्या? रुक रुक, यू नो ये सब है ना मेरे सामने नहीं बोलने का। आई एम गोना पुट योर नेम एंड देन यू टॉक टू द सुपर बॉसेस एंड देन वी विल सी कि कितना एफिशिएंसी है तेरे में काम देखता हूँ ना कितना होता है। एंड आई वाज लाइक व्हाट द फक, लाइक आजकल बहुत टाइम पे निकल रहे हो, लाइक दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम एवर आई हर्ड दैट। एंड देन आई रियलाइज कि ब्रो देयर इज समथिंग सीरियसली रॉन्ग। एंड it's not, I'm not complaining about anyone, right? Like, or any company for that matter. It is just, it could be just like I had a bad experience, but it was considered कि हाँ काम एक्स्ट्रा करना है आपको, and it is what it is. And I spoke to my friends, you know, and I spoke to my friends, and I remember speaking to my dad. My dad तो was never in private, right? वो तो गवर्नमेंट में काम करते थे। एंड मैंने उनको बोला कि यार ये क्या है, ये ऐसे थोड़ी होता है। एंड ही इज़ लाइक कि वर्क इज़ वर्क बेटा, वर्क इज़ स्ट्रगल। हम लाइक ये सब तो कभी नहीं बताया मेरे को। एंड ही इज़ लाइक या व्हाटएवर, दिस इज हाउ इट इज़, ओके। अभी तुमको पता चल रहा है क्या होता है, बिकॉज डैड्स लाइक टू डू दैट राइट टू द सन्स की हाँ हाँ नाउ यूर अ बिग मैन, नाउ अभी देख कैसे होता है तेरे साथ, हाँ, बिकॉज you know, of course we don't believe in motivating people in this country. So whatever, the point is I asked my friends and they were also यार उनके साथ भी डंडा हो रहा है, उनको भी बम्बू हो रहा है। कुत्तों की तरह काम करे जा रहे हैं, रात को 11-11 बजे, सुबह 6 बजे बुला रहे हैं, ये सेल्स मीट पे जाना है, उधर जाना है, इधर जाना है। And I was like, my God, you know, and so no one teaches you all this in college. So if you're in college right now, um, I want you to know that there will be some very weird people who will micromanage you. And the expectations in corporate India honestly are like कि ज़्यादा काम करने का, you know, ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा काम करने का। So kind of, you know, I hope you keep that in mind, that that is the reality यार guys, कि अगर 9 to 5 एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो, those days are gone, those years are gone. Your mobile phone, your laptop have taken that away from you. Your mental space is never going to be there कि मैं you know कि काम से मैं मुक्त हूँ। That is, those days are gone, that life is gone, is what I'm trying to tell you. You could be in an infinity pool overlooking the ocean, you know, in Bali, okay? And you could still have your laptop and you could be working. You get me? It is what it is. And it sucks, but it's also awesome that you can do that. But if you think about it, also sucks that you can do that, right? So that's exactly my point on work-life balance. And I'll repeat something which I started off, you know, to say that if you want to rise up to the top, if you want to go to the top management of any company, I promise you, you will have to work longer and harder and more than anyone else around you. It doesn't mean ki if you work 70 hours a week and someone works 68 hours a week, you win. No. But I'm saying your minimum will be more than the average. As simple as that, right? Your minimum will be more than the average. If everyone else around you is working 45 hours, आपको 50-55 घंटे करने पड़ेंगे काम. Because the people at the top, the people who are founders and all, they work extremely long hours. They expect others around them to do so, you know, the same. And then they also know, hey, there are those people who are part of my circle. Then there are those people who are like, they're not part of my circle, it's okay. I don't have the same expectations out of them, but if you're part of my circle, if you directly report into me, you're going to work like I work. Okay? So the closer you go to the top, the longer you're going to work. I really want each and every one of you to remember that. And it doesn't matter if it's HR, if it's marketing, if it's legal, if it's sales, if it's, I don't know, like whatever. If you're an analyst, you're in finance, it doesn't matter. You will work long hours. Okay. If you want to live a life where you don't want to work long hours, you will have to accept the fact कि boss मैं फिर most likely I'm not going to end up becoming a vice president. Or if I do at all, I will become one by the time I'm 47 or 50. You know, like 47 भी बहुत जल्दी बोल गया मैं, 50, 52, when you have like 4-5 years remaining in your career, तब वो आपको बनाएंगे वहाँ पे. And here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with not reaching top management. It's not a joke. यार वो बीपी वीपी हो जाता है, उन लोगों को शुगर वुगर हो जाता है, उनको स्ट्रेस होता रहता है. And someone put in the comment section, ऐसे तो we will age up 10 years very soon. Yes, I mean, I don't want to name names, of course, and I won't even put my, I don't want to comment much, but people our age, in the early 30s itself, we have a lot of lifestyle diseases, stress, you know, because we never, Indians, we never worked this much, yeah, before. Let's be frank. Now, abhi ho raha hai wo, abhi ho raha hai wo. And the challenge with our country is that our infrastructure is not built for a people who are working 60, 70 hours a week, is what I'm trying to tell you. ओके अगर आप बाहर के देश में जाओगे उनके ट्रेन हमारे जैसे घटिया नहीं होते, उनके रास्ते हमारे जैसे फालतू नहीं होते, ओके उनके शहर हमारे जैसे डिस्गस्टिंग नहीं होते. देयर कंट्रीज आर मेड, देयर सिटीज आर मेड इन सच अ वे कि यू विल बी अ लिटिल यू नो चिल, यू विल बी लाइक कि हाँ सब कुछ आराम से होगा. ट्रैफिक में वो भी फंसते हैं, बट हमारा ट्रैफिक और उनका ट्रैफिक ज़मीन आसमान का फ़र्क है. अपना ट्रैफिक बहुत ही स्ट्रेस इंड्यूसिंग ट्रैफिक होता है. And if you think these things are going to take years of our lives, yes, it will. Yes, they will. होगा. Because see, you remember those people who say कि दादाजी ने बहुत मेहनत की एंड दादाजी ने इतना मेहनत किया और उनके बाद इतना स्ट्रेस लिया, उसीलिए वो जल्दी चल बसे, बट उनकी वजह से फैमिली सेट हो गई. यार मुझे है ना सच्ची में डर लगता है कि ये हमारे साथ भी ऐसा ही कुछ हो जाएगा. करेक्ट कि पीपल आर गोना बी लाइक कि यार इन्होंने बहुत काम किया, बहुत मेहनत किया, and we are happy about it, but they took so much stress so that we didn't have to. Because I personally feel my children and my grandchildren, hopefully, they will be in a much better world than I am in, frankly speaking. It's a good thing also, it's a bad thing also, because we will have to struggle in this environment, which they frankly won't have to, right? You need to remember where you are. You can't just open your phone, look at China ka cities ka pictures and videos like wow, and look at America ke videos and Europe ke videos and compare yourself. No, sorry. You live in a third world country which is trying very hard to become, to improve itself. We are underdeveloped. We missed the industrial revolution, which happened 200 years ago. So we are pretty fucking late. So we just started industrializing, I would say, like just like 40 years ago. So I would say it is what it is, right? That is your reality if you live in India. The reason we have so much employment in the IT, back office, knowledge processing, outsourcing, process outsourcing space is purely because we provide relatively cheap labor. That doesn't mean, and with high quality, I personally believe our output quality is very good, in India. At least, I mean, of course, it's a blanket statement, but I think it's pretty good. नहीं तो नहीं होता यार 20 25 30 साल से इतना आउटसोर्सिंग नहीं होता if our quality of work wasn't good, right? Most normal level things we can do very well, and it's just that it's arbitrage, right? Like we have to we charge less than the people in the more mature markets charge, as simple as that. And when you do that, you're expected to work longer hours, you're expected to work odd hours, and it's also a matter of culture, right? In India, we don't like people sitting and chilling and doing nothing. Think about it. हमको वेले लोग पसंद नहीं है. Our culture does not allow that. We are always expected to do something. अगर ऑफिस नहीं कर रहे हो तो घर पे हाथ बटाओ, ठीक है? अगर वो भी नहीं हो रहा है तो बच्चों को संभालो, कुछ तो करो. Okay, we are not a society that promotes chill, that promotes relax. I know it feels like it कि यार सब वेले बैठे हैं, बट जो हमारे वेले लोग भी है वो भी तो मेहनत करते हैं कि वेले ना रहे. एट लीस्ट आई सी इट दैट वे, राइट? कि एंट्रेंस एग्जाम दे रहे हैं या कुछ कर रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, वो कर रहे हैं. तो those things happen, right? And which is why I really want to tell you once again, work-life balance is something. If you really have those expectations, align them, realign them. Like I'll end this monologue and I'll start answering questions. Please put your questions in the chat. But I'll end this story by end it with a very story which is very close to my heart in a way, like मतलब कुछ ज़्यादा emotional नहीं है, but it gave me a slap of reality, right? When I was young, I was with this very big manager, बहुत बड़ा आदमी था, and I just wanted like 5 minutes of his time. I wanted to discuss something, and he was like, यार दोस्त बिल्कुल time नहीं है. He liked me, I liked him. इज़ लाइक यार सौरभ मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है, एक काम कर, मैं नीचे जा रहा हूँ, सिगरेट पीने जा रहा हूँ, मेरे साथ आ जा, मेरा 5-10 मिनट है, उसमें हम बात कर लेंगे। आई वाज लाइक ओके ओके ओके। आई वेंट विद हिम, यू नो, एंड आई वाज लाइक विद हिम, आई वाज बात कर रहा था मैं अपना बकवास बकवास एंड देन ही इज़ लाइक, यू नो, ही इज़ लाइक तेरे को एक चीज़ दिखाना है, मतलब यस, he showed me his watch, you know, it was a digital watch back then, and he's like, you want to see how many hours I sleep? I was like, what? He's like, you want to see how many hours I sleep? I was like, whatever. He's like, yeah. And he showed it to me. 1.5 hours, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 1 hour. He had slept in the past 10 days at that time for a cumulative 25 to 30 hours at max, you know. So that is, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, this guy has issues, you know. Like, I hope he gets to sleep. एंड ही इज़ लाइक व्हेनेवर आई गेट टाइम आई स्लीप, दैट्स ऑल आई डू, बिकॉज़ इतना काम है, इतना प्रेशर है मेरे ऊपर, मेरे को टाइम नहीं मिलता सोने के लिए। तो मैंने बोला मे बी दिस इज़ लाइक अ वन टाइम थिंग, ये इस बंदे के साथ होता है। देन आई स्पोक टू सम अदर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पीपल, यू नो, एंड लकीली आई हैड दैट एक्सेस, यू नो, एंड दे वर लाइक गाइस वी डोंट स्लीप मोर देन 4 आवर्स, वी डोंट स्लीप मोर देन 5 आवर्स, वी जस्ट डोंट। इट्स इम्पॉसिबल, समटाइम्स नॉट इवन कंसेक्यूटिवली, राइट, कि अभी 3 घंटा मिल गया, अभी 1.5 घंटा मिल गया, अभी आधा घंटा मिल गया, मिला के 5 घंटा मैक्स 24 घंटे में हम सोते हैं। एंड दे इजीली वर्क 6 days a week, bare minimum, right? So that was the top management wala story. So that is when I realized, by top management does not mean you're smart. I mean, of course, that is expected, but top management definitely means, dude, you're going to work your ass off. Okay, so that is the reality, and I would just finish off by saying that you deserve to have a good work life balance, but just remember which kind of company you are part of, and if you're going to go for a company which has a bit more of a chill side to it, there is a high chance you won't get the growth that you expect. Growth with work life balance, I don't think exists. That's the real pole ke bol, you know. Sorry to, you know, sound depressing, but it is what it is. So anyway, now I'll start taking questions, you know. So yeah, let me just answer some comments. So many of you are commenting, folks. Thank you so much for joining. Quite a few of you are here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on LinkedIn if you feel like, that would be great, but do put questions over there, yeah, in the chat, and when you react and all, it helps the algorithm, it helps the channel so much. Thank you. So anyway, Rajdeep is like very much relatable, working in EMEA shift. EMEA is Europe, Middle East, Africa. But after promotion, I have to handle work from other time zones as well, as like APAC, which is Asia Pacific, and US. So I have to stay active mentally when I receive emails on phone. Correct. So as I said, right, your mental space is also work-life balance. Matlab, it's not just the work requires you to be there physically, but even mentally, they expect, you know, you to be there, and your mobile phone has enabled that. Remember that much. Your mobile phone, the technology that we have around us is a double-edged sword. Remember that much. So Ritik is like, how to speak English like you, how to speak it. Just bak karte raho. Speak English with other people. There is nothing better than just, you know, um, practice. And there are certain things you only do. You don't learn. You learn by doing. And be ready to embarrass yourself, Ritik. I think it's very important to embarrass yourself, because that's how you learn. That's how you succeed. शर्म को छोड़ के आ जाओ कहीं पे, तभी आपका ग्रोथ होगा. मैं भी, मेरा भी मजाक उड़ाया गया था मेरी इंग्लिश का, यू नो, विच आई डेंट एक्सपेक्ट एट वन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, बिकॉज आई ऑलवेज थॉट माई इंग्लिश वॉज गुड. नॉट रियली, माई प्रोनाउंसिएशंस weren't great. Even right now I'll pronounce some words ऊपर नीचे, and that's fine. I'm ready to learn, you know, and so be ready to embarrass yourself. That's my piece of advice, you know. Godwin is like, hi bro, how are you? I'm good, yeah. Little sleepy because last night I was partying with my cousins, so yeah, I need some sleep. Ritik is like, I want to do MBA 27. Guys, please stick to the topic. And yeah, you can do your MBA whenever you feel like, you know, honestly. I've made a video on about it. You can check it. Rohini, hello Rohini. So good to see you. I think it's nuanced. Like every business has its slack season, heavy business season. Like in month ends, you can't be cribbing about work-life balance. You have to work till if that is the demand. Perfect comment. Once again, Rohini, number one comment. See, there are times in corporate where like, भाई यार सिर्फ 4 घंटा काम हुआ है, इनको तो यार हम तो मजे कर रहे हैं, हमको तो कुछ काम ही नहीं है, काम ही नहीं है, और जब काम आता है ना, ऐसे सुनामी की तरह काम आ जाता है फिर. ओके, सो यू हैव टू रिमेंबर, वर्क, नाउ आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू नो दिस, बट वर्क डज नॉट, इज नॉट लाइक दिस. इट्स लाइक दिस। तो तो कभी बहुत ज़्यादा काम आता है और कभी एकदम ही काम नहीं होता, और जब एकदम ही काम नहीं होता ना, एन्जॉय इट। बिकॉज़ जब एकदम ज़्यादा काम आ जाएगा ना, तब रोना आ जाएगा तुमको। सो यू बेटर बी प्रिपेयर्ड, राइट? सो दैट इज़ द रियलिटी। Rohini is like, and it's slack season, management should be considerate about work-life balance. I agree. Even the management should be like, hey, you know what? It's going to be tough in the next couple of weeks, but अभी time है ना 3-4 दिन, तो थोड़ा relax कर लो. So I think that always helps. So yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Um, Rohini is like, don't you think extremes of both is dangerous? Like switching off servers after 5 is total extreme. Yeah, that's the culture. That's the culture. They don't believe in working after 5 p.m. Work is not a central theme for them because they have solved life in a lot of ways. They are very rich. They're very accomplished. Those countries, they're very secure. I don't think we are either. You know, we are none of that. Our history is very different from their history, whether we like it or not. That is the reality, right? So that is why they can do certain things which we can't do. वो नहीं होता आपके, there are rich friends of yours who are like 2 साल घर पे बैठे हैं, they are like, यार I'm exploring, I'm considering what to do, what not to do. They can do it. They are so rich, they can sit at home for 2 years. Can you? That's the reality. So yeah, Rajdeep is like, holy shit, micromanagement taken to a whole new level. Yes, yeah, it is what it is. Suvajit, he's not doing live right now. I think I am. Yeah, Rajdeep is like, I have often seen top management folks going all out on work, even if their other dimensions of life are heavily neglected, like family relationships and health. Yes, that's the reality. For them, work is first, second, and third, more often than not. So that is what the top management does. So which is why people like to hate on top management. I do not. I'm like, यार बहुत sacrifice करते हैं ये लोग जहाँ पे हैं उसके लिए. That does not mean that they're necessarily good people. Same with middle management and lower management. Nobody is good or bad because of their position in life. You have to judge people based on their individual merits and demerits. Okay, remember that much. Amitzopreet Singh, bruh, don't you think putting in that much amount of work into one's own business would be more beneficial? Amitzopreet Singh, there is no guarantee your business will work. When you work in a job, there is, okay, I'm going to make a video on defending jobs, by the way, because everyone is like, धंधा धंधा धंधा. भाई सबके बस का नहीं होता धंधा. And if you know how to work and if you know how to know what you are doing, you can आप जॉब करके ज़िंदगी निकाल सकते हो यार. You can raise a family, you can do well in life also. You get me? And of course, अगर धंधा करना है करो, who's going to stop you? And yes, I kind of agree that if you're really going to work 100 hours, 110 hours, might as well do it with equity. And by equity means shares, like company के shares होने चाहिए आपके पास. So why not do your own business? So go for it. I would highly recommend. Go for it, but always have a backup plan, right? ऐसा अंधे में नहीं जाने का धंधे में. थोड़ा experience लेके जाने का. थोड़ा. That's all I'll say. Then Pallav is like, should I do MBA at 32? Up to you. I've made other videos. You can check them out. Rohini is like, नहीं आपके साथ नहीं होगा. आप जिम जाते हो. हा हा. I mean, yeah. जो इज़ लाइक, भंडारा खोलने का टाइम आ गया. भाई वो भंडारा खोलोगे, वहाँ पे भी एक्स्ट्रा लोग आके आपका भंडारा का खाना खा के चले जाएंगे. भारत ट्रिविया, सॉरी ब्रो, माई ब्रदर गॉट 99.44 percentile, then also got rejected from SPJ in Mumbai. Yeah, so it's not only your percentile that matters ना, आपका एंट्रेंस एग्जाम्स भी होता है. पल्लव, सॉरी, आपके इंटरव्यूज़ और GDPI वो सब भी होता है. स्टिक टू द टॉपिक गाइस प्लीज. Pallav is like, are all jobs post MBA stressful? No, some are stressful, some are not. Joe is like, how to join D company? Sorry, bro, I don't know. Gaurav is like, visited Switzerland recently, was shopping at COOP. As soon as the clock struck 6:30 p.m., guards came in and all of us were asked to exit immediately. And cash counter shut. Very different from India. Exactly. You get me? Very different from India. तो उधर उधर वैसे ही होता है. उधर वैसे ही होता है. उधर मतलब, like, if you, like, I was in Melbourne, right? एंड उधर मतलब 6-6:30 बजे सब बंद हो जाता है. इट्स लाइक कि हाँ बंद हो गया. द ओनली स्टोर्स दैट आर ओपन लेटर ऑन आर लाइक सम 7-Eleven departmental stores, and or you will have like some pub or something which is exactly there so that you can party and do all sorts of crazy shit, right? So उधर दे आर वेरी पर्टिकुलर, दे आर लाइक तेरे को चाहिए कुछ 7 बजे शाम को, 7 बजे 8 बजे, बट आई एम ऑल्सो अ पर्सन, आई एम वर्किंग, मैं तेरा नौकर नहीं है, मुझे भी छुट्टी मिलेगी, बाय। तेरे को आने का है, काम करने का है, तू आके 6 बजे तक करके निकल ले, दैट्स ऑन यू। ठीक है, दैट इज द रियलिटी आउटसाइड ऑफ इंडिया. If your manager, so Rohini is like, if your manager had put those sleepless night in his own business, he would have at least a millionaire, if not billionaire. That's not true. Just because you put hours in your business does not mean you know how to run a business. There are some people who are just better off being big managers in a big company. खुद का धंधा चलाना हलवा नहीं होता. And by the way, if you're a very big guy in a company, you get equity, and that equity usually goes into tens of lakhs, if not crores. So remember that. Karthikeyan is like, what's your average screen time on your phone? It's horrible, bro. It's fucking 7 hours or something. Karthikeyan is like, by the way, do you have a personal and work phone? No. I tried that once, didn't work out. So I was like, one phone, I'll keep it. Roomex, how much did you score in MHCET? I don't know. I don't remember anymore. But we had GDP and all of that and all, right? So that is what it is. But my channel is more about, corporate and all, and the process of MBA and everything. Every time someone asks me, yeah, how to get into an MBA college, I always say, hey, I'm very unqualified to comment on it. So if you see, I've never made any video on how to get into an MBA college, right? I have made things on पर्सनल इंटरव्यू कैसे देने का, ये वो वगैरह, जो मेरे को आता है मैं बस उसके बारे में बात करूँगा. क्लिंटन एंड्रूज इज लाइक, आई वंडर व्हाट managers get by stealing the credits of a fresher or an early career employee. Yeah, that's not related to what I'm talking about right now, but let me answer it. Some managers are insecure. Some managers are helpful and they'll build you up. And some managers are insecure and they don't want कल का बच्चा, छोटू पब्लिक coming in and outshining them. Simple. It's simple. That's how it works, right? Because they want to maintain that hierarchy. Because what happens is कई कल का बच्चा आके एकदम बढ़िया काम कर लिया, then that manager's manager will be like, भाई इतने साल में तूने क्यों नहीं किया ये इतना सिंपल चीज़, ये बच्चा आके करके गया. So there is motivation from that angle also, right? Ultimately you will find all sorts of people in corporate, yeah. कुछ कमीने होते हैं, कुछ अच्छे होते हैं, and luck plays a huge role, कि आपको कैसा टाइप का बॉस मिल रहा है. सो दैट इज व्हाट इट इज. आई पर्सनली फील, बाय द वे, if you have a good boss, your work-life balance will be better. If you have a bad boss, your work-life balance is going to be shit. And I've had both kind of bosses, and that has been my understanding, right? You can be in a company where everyone's working like dogs, but if your boss doesn't believe in that, you will work aram se. He or she will shield you. They'll be like, मेरी टीम तो ऐसे चलेगी. And then you can also be in a company where everyone is working chill, but तुम्हारा बॉस बड़ा थोड़ा टेढ़ा आदमी है या औरत है, and they are like, नहीं नहीं मेरी टीम तो एक्स्ट्रा काम करेंगी. So that also matters. Your work-life balance is not necessary on a company level. It also depends on a managerial level. So remember that also, right? So yeah. Anyway, Ankit is like, I think rather than number of hours you spend in office and micromanaging, management should focus on productivity. Just finish your work and go home to balance your life. Yeah, that doesn't work that way. It works in an ideal situation. It doesn't work that way. People want to see people around them when they are working, and it is what it is, right? That's human nature. You might not like it, but it is what it is. And I have faced it, right? मैंने अभी वो story बताया, right? मैं time पे निकल रहा था and all, मेरे को बोला क्या रे time पे निकल रहा है. So it sucks. And work from home helps in that case कि आप आपका काम जल्दी से कर लो और ऐसे बैठ जाओ. If you can finish off your work in 6 hours, why the hell not? Enjoy your life. But आजकल work life मतलब work from home भी बंद ही हो रहा है mostly from what I can see. So it is what it is, right? But I personally feel with more and more Gen Zs entering, I think, okay, I'll be very frank here. I don't know why Gen Zs are hated so much. I think there's a lot of jealousy against Gen Zs. मैं तो हूँ नहीं, मैं तो millennial हूँ. Gen Z public, मेरा nephews, मेरा nieces and बच्चा लोग जो भी है मेरे फैमिली में एंड मेरे कॉलोनी में एंड मेरे ऑफिस में, दोज आर जेन जीज. आई थिंक दे आर वेरी वोकल एंड दे आर वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट इन देयर डिमांड्स एंड हाउ दे एक्सपेक्ट टू बी ट्रीटेड एंड ऑल, विच इज़ फैंटास्टिक. एंड नाउ हियर्स द थिंग, they will influence how work happens in India quite a bit, and I'm happy about it. But please do not get it twisted. The reason they will succeed is not because they are better or they are like, wow, they are so cool. It's because of people like me who are millennials, who, when we were their age, हमें कोई कुत्ता नहीं पूछता था. Correct. Now we are like those elder siblings who are like, don't worry, we'll sort it out. Like, and we ourselves want to go home and chill and relax. Yeah. One of the main reasons work life balance in India kind of sucks even more because the top management at times, they are so used to working long hours, they don't know, they don't have any other life, right? So unfortunately they are like कि तो मेरे life नहीं है, तेरा कैसे होगा बे? There are some people who have that also, right? But because we are millennials, we I personally believe we have a much better, much healthier version of work life balance, or a view or an approach towards life, which has become solidified even more after the pandemic. We actually kind of support what Gen Zs are doing, where they are like सब कुछ मैं seriously नहीं लूँगा, काम 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 नहीं करते रहूँगा पूरा time. So we kind of support that. So I think Gen Zs entering the workplace is going to improve things, but with the advent of technology, you can track anything and everything, right? So that is what it is. Gaurav is like, sorry, Lakshay is like, hey man, I'm new here. Hi Lakshay. Gaurav is like, which post MBA job roles do you think are less stressful? Work life balance is making me consider doing MBA HR. I've converted a good HR college this year too. Yeah, you can do HR, but are you going to choose your life based on work life balance? Your career based on work life balance? You're supposed to choose your career on what you want to do. तुम्हारे दिल से क्या करना है? What you're good at? How much do you want to earn? Where do you want to live? आपको उस हिसाब से आपका लाइफ चुनना होता है. Who knows, tomorrow the HR function will become stressful. Do you think the HR have less stress? Have you spoken to any HR? And don't talk about the usual HR BP that you have. I'm talking about like an HR leader or something. The amount of stress these people have, it's not funny. So is all I'm saying. Bharat Trivia is like, bro, I do not why in village and urban area corporate is seen as a failed bro, I don't know what the hell you have written, sorry. Rohini is like, in India there is no social security like Western countries, so maybe even that affects things. Completely agree. तुम्हारा कोई बैकअप नहीं है, तुमको झक मार के काम करना पड़ता है. और वो छोड़ो यार, तुमको EMI वगैरह आ गया ना गलती से भी आपके ऊपर, आपकी हालत टाइट हो जाएगी, है कि नहीं? द मोमेंट यू हैव EMI, no matter what, you will work like a dog. It is what it is. Like, I'm sorry, that's the reality, right? Anyway, next is Clinton is like, thanks for answering my question. Yeah, of course, Clinton, thank you for putting in a question. Science technology is like, how to deal with micromanagement. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I give it back. Yeah, when it is micromanagement, I kind of give it back. I start arguing, unfortunately. It hasn't really worked that well, but many times with micromanagement you have to accept it कि ये ऐसा है ये. But then you also see, if they enjoy giving micromanaging you, ensure they stop enjoying it. That kind of works in my favor sometimes, where I'm like, फिर करना है तो argue करना है तो कर ही लेते हैं, चलो. My upbringing was such that I'm good at arguing, so works that way. Because micromanagement का एक problem बताऊँ, not only is it irritating, it stops your skills from growing. Because if someone else is dictating everything you're doing, then I think then you're just a child or you're a clown who's just repeating things others are asking you to do. उसमें आपका कहाँ growth हो रहा है? So micromanagement is a bad thing. It is what it is. And of course have a one-on-one call with the boss and be like, boss, आप micromanage मत करो. उसको बोलने लेना, ये ऐसा वैसा बोल रहा है, तो might as well have an argument over there than every day have छोटो मोटो arguments. एक shot का argument कर दो. It is what it is. Rajdeep is like, whenever I get on a call with my German colleagues, I feel super jealous of them during their work hours. Most of them are super efficient and focused, but after the clock strikes 5, off they go. Perfect, exact, 200%, no notes, exact. Yes, it is the reality. But as I said, you don't live in Germany. Subodh is like, how to say no to a boss asking you to work extra, even though it's not a priority to prioritize our work-life balance. That's a tough one, yeah, Subodh, and let me give you an answer. Let me give you a no bullshit answer, right, Subodh? I've had bosses to whom I've said no and they have screwed my happiness. And I've had bosses to whom I've said no and they have kind of understood. And they're like, okay, it's cool. So it kind of depends on your boss, honestly, And dude, there's nothing worse than a bad boss. That's what I'll say. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can put it over there. But every time I've gotten a bad boss, I've either waited for them to leave or I have left myself, either the team or the company. Because a bad boss will not only ruin your current position, they'll also screw your coming 6 months or so. Because they are very tough people, yeah. Matlab, unhappy people make the worst bosses because they ensure कि मैं नाखुश है ना तो तू भी नाखुश रहेगा साले. They cannot see anyone else smiling. They cannot see anyone else being happy because if they are unhappy, everyone else has to be unhappy, right? So it is what it is. And also kind of have a mature adult conversation with them. मांडवली करो कि बस आई थिंक दिस इज टू मच, ये कम है, ये ज़्यादा है, एंड मेरे को ये 3 दिन मैं बिल्कुल काम नहीं कर सकता, मेरे घर पे ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. बात करके देखो क्या बोलते हैं. That's all I'll say, because in some cases it has worked in my favor. So yeah, Shamik is like, but in Lala company situation is totally different. If you're working long hours, they consider it as a bare minimum that one can do. Completely agree. Yes, happened with me and others also. Rohini is like, I feel Western countries are more considerate in terms of work-life balance, like Asian countries like Japan, South Korea, and India. The reason they can do that is because they are rich. Plus, their culture, identity, their identity in society is not built on the basis of their profession. You see where we are going now. आपका बेटा क्या है? इंजीनियर है, डॉक्टर है, एमबीए है. उनके वहाँ पे बेटे एमबीए नहीं होते, डॉक्टर इंजीनियर नहीं होते. दे आई मीन होते हैं, बट दे डोंट मेक दैट अ कोर पार्ट ऑफ देयर पर्सनैलिटी. They do not. They do not. It's a cultural thing, right, Rohini? It's a cultural thing also. And it's like the work ethic that you have, the society that you have. And Japan, South Korea, and India, they're extremely conservative countries. All three of them, which you have mentioned, right? Sitaraman, I'm not even going to, answer your question. I'm sorry. Like, please stick to the topic. So, Rohini, as I was saying, right, these are very conservative countries that you're talking about. Japan, South Korea, and India. तो उसमें जो elders बोलते हैं वही होगा. Okay, so remember that. you know Remember that. So that is exactly why work-life balance is kind of better, because you as an individual, when you have more power and freedom, work-life balance makes sense. But when you're at the top and you can dictate others to work long hours, you just have to do it. It is what it is. Clinton is like, Gen Zs can bring in many positive changes, but I see many who just carry on the legacy. That's unfortunate. That's true. Yeah, that's true, Clinton. I completely agree. But that's in every part of every cohort has good and bad people, no? Uska kuch nahi kar sakte. They're human beings, no? That's what it is. Lakshya is like Japan and work-life balance in one sentence. Yeah, Japan is known for having extremely long hours. In fact, their long hours are so long, their government kind of concluded that their birth rate has been falling because of long working hours. At least that's what they think. I don't know. That's not my commentary. That is them saying it. Because they are like कि बच्चे करने का टाइम ही नहीं है, और अगर करेंगे बच्चे तो भी कहाँ मिलेगा टाइम उनको पालने पोसने का. So that is why they are like, this is we need to reduce the number of work hours. And I honestly hope they have done that, because the Japanese will work really hard. The Koreans will also work really hard. Singaporeans work really hard. Indians work really hard. The only problem I personally feel is Indians are not as productive with their work as other countries. And I can kind of understand. We are a society which is like, हाँ ठीक है, थोड़ा मिल बांट के खाएंगे. Everyone will be nice and chill with each other. We are not cutter, right? Like when a bunch of Indians come together, हमको तो ये भी पता होता है, अरे मेरे बच्चे को सर्दी हो गया, अरे मेरा हस्बैंड बीमार है, अरे माय मदर इन लॉ इज लाइक दिस. सो वी शेयर अ लॉट विद ईच अदर. थोड़ा वो पारिवारिक माहौल हो जाता है इंडिया के मीटिंग्स में. दैट इज नॉट द केस आउटसाइड. दे come to office to work. More or less they work quite a bit. They also have office colleagues, no doubt about it, office friends and all, but it's not as cohesive as our this thing. They are like, ho gaya, like, and they don't like it when people pry into their personal business, and that is not the case in India. In fact, if you don't tell people about your personal business, they kind of feel offended ki, are इसको तो हम हमारे साथ बात करना ही नहीं है, लाइक ऐसे ऐसे हो जाता है इंडिया में, तो दैट इज़ व्हाई द कल्चर इज़ डिफरेंट. That is what I wanted to say over here, right? And because of that, I think we spend at least an hour or so talking about, अरे वो तेरे क्या क्या हो गया, तेरी दादी ठीक है क्या, अरे तेरे डैड वहाँ गए थे ना, अरे तुम लोग मूवी देखने गए थे क्या, वो बक बक बकवास चिट चैट. That is the way we do things, honestly. So yeah, that is why we work longer hours also a little bit because of that. Rohini is like, but if you see, even in India, foreign companies are more considerate in terms of work-life balance than the Indian counterparts. Maybe, maybe. And also, yes, there are many companies who are like, ki, boss, we need quality output. We don't want quantity output. We want quality, and for that, we need people to be well rested and very constant, very focused and everything. Especially in the creative side of things, it is always better that a well rested mind will produce much better work than a stressed out mind. So yeah, it is that is the way it works, right? And as I said in this video at the beginning, choose companies that really value work life balance in general, because if they don't outwardly honestly express it, ki work life balance is something which we really want in our company, you are not going to find it for sure. Many companies will say it but it will not give it, but at least say it. झूठ तो बोलो बोलो तो कम से कम. So yeah, Shomik is like, I think this will be, I'll be logging off in the next couple of minutes. If you have any questions, just put it out there. Shomik is like, I often think there is a better world which offers better work-life balance, better work environment outside my current company. Is this really there or just a myth? It's really there. Sometimes the grass is greener because they water it better and more. Science and technology, the Netherlands people enjoy a lot. They never stretch or work beyond time because their culture values other things as well. Completely agree. Yeah, that's the reality. Science and technology, as I said, right? The culture values other things. You know, ZXMXM, bro, you are a funny person. Thank you, thank you. So, folks, couple of more minutes. Let me know if you have any questions, any comments. I'll answer. Let me check my notes also. You know. Mm, Yeah, I think more or less I've done it. And yeah, one last thing. Set your own boundaries. You should know this is my boundary. मैं 8 बजे के बाद फ़ोन नहीं उठाऊंगी नो मैटर वॉट. वो होता है. बिकॉज आई हैड अ कलीग लाइक दैट. शी वॉज लाइक 8 o'clock के बाद दुनिया बर्बाद हो जाए, यू विल नॉट कॉल मी. इफ यू कॉल मी, आई एम गोना कट योर कॉल, आई एम गोना स्विच ऑफ माई फोन. इट इज़ वॉट इट इज़, राइट? आई हैव हैड बॉसेस ऑल्सो लाइक, आई एम गोइंग ऑन वेकेशन, दुनिया बर्बाद हो जाए, मेरे को एक मैसेज नहीं आएगा. वो वैसे होता है. नाउ यू डील विद दीज पीपल द वे यू वांट टू, बट देर आर सम पीपल हु कैन डू दैट. Learn to set your boundaries, and don't make your boundaries insane, don't make your boundaries unreasonable, but always better to have some boundaries. Don't make the mistakes I made. And just because you work long hours does not mean you will get rewarded. There's no guarantee of that. So yeah. Rajdeep is like, last year I applied for 10 days of leave 3 months in advance. I told my manager I would trek, but he still asked me to carry my laptop. I was wondering what's going on here. Don't they know to enjoy? Yeah, they don't, unfortunately. Like I personally, when I go on vacation, I purposely keep my laptop at home. I was like, "Nahin. Laptop leke gaya, you have lost already. Any vacation with your work laptop is not a vacation. Khatam. It's just not. You know, Rohini is like, bro, please make a video on GD and PI. I have made a video on MBA का PI already, Rohini. GD के ऊपर मैं कर सकता हूँ. GD के ऊपर मैं कर सकता हूँ. Yeah, I can do that. So yeah, anyway, folks, I think we are reaching an hour. It's been lovely chatting with you. Please like, comment, subscribe. I should have slept half an hour ago. Again, I'm a bit late. It's been genuinely, I love chatting with you guys. So help the channel. If you're new, subscribe. You can share it with your friends. Please like. तो ऐसा algorithm को मज़ा आता है. मैंने last night I made a video on middle management and its shrinking role. It's gotten 3,600 views, which is quite a lot. Do watch it. If you think, if you disagree, put a comment. If you agree, put a comment. Shaumak is like, being early in your career, don't you think it's very risky to set boundaries and say no to your managers? Being a management trainee, I feel this every day. Beautiful question, Shaumak. The problem is there are way worse things than, do one thing then. Don't set boundaries. See what happens with you. See what happens with you if you don't set boundaries. Yeah, the problem is ना इंडिया में कुत्ता बना देते हैं. And मैं कुत्ता बन चुका हूँ पहले. And it's not a fun feeling, you know. It's not a fun feeling. That's the reality. And if you are young, many people will try to manipulate you. Be like, अरे यही तो टाइम है काम करने का. करो करो रात को 1 बजे तक काम करो. You know. And they I'll end it on this. Once a manager told me, why do you need work life balance? You're single and you're a bachelor. So not single. She was like, they were like, you you don't have anything, like you can work. What's the problem? So if you are young, sometimes it happens that people will expect you to do more, because oftentimes you are more easily manipulated, you are gullible. Please don't be like what I was. Don't make the mistakes I made. And respect yourself. Respect yourself. We don't teach that in our country. Respect yourself. एग्जैक्टली साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी लाइक जिसकी शादी नहीं हुई है उसको ज़्यादा काम मिलता है. मुझे तो मुंह पे बोला था, तेरे पास तो कुछ भी नहीं है, काम कर साले. In a very nice way, but that was the whole thing. So anyway, thanks guys. This is brilliant. This is beautiful. Love chatting with you. Bharat Trivia is like, what are your thoughts on ESG? I have no clue. Clinton is like, what's your next live? Wonderful session. Though Clinton, I have already scheduled my next live for tomorrow. You should check it out. I think, what is it about? I've forgotten already. But yeah, I think it's about the Indian education system and my thoughts on it. So yeah, thank you, folks. This was Polkeball. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on LinkedIn, and this was wonderful. Thank you so much. See ya. Good night.